CUNY and Maida Kucevic, also known as the Data Sultans, are students from Hunter College. Their project, ACE and the Race to Class, Improving Bus Speeds for CUNY Students, investigates how New York City's Automated Camera Enforcement, or ACE program, can improve bus speeds and reduce chronic lateness for CUNY students. Check out their website, links in the description box below.
My name is Maida Kucevic, and
My name is Furkan. Hi.
so our project is basically to increase the bus speeds of CUNY routes. We are CUNY students, and we noticed that our buses tend to be slower, and it's like cutting into our class time. So what we first did in order to validate our data is we surveyed over 185 CUNY students, and we noticed that about 65% are late because of these bus speeds and how slow they are. So, sorry. This is cutting into like actual important class time. So what we wanted to do is find a way to improve that. And we did some research into something called ACE. ACE is a program put into these MTA buses. It stands for Automated Camera Enforcement. And what it does is basically it looks into bus lanes and bus stops and see vehicles that are violating those, like stopping there or like just taking up space that makes it slower for these buses to drive through. So what we wanted to see is ACE actually increasing the bus speeds of these buses? So, and if it is, can we incorporate it into CUNY buses? So first what we did is we created an ML model to actually validate that.
So when we scroll down here, you'll see that we compared ACE routes and non-ACE routes to see which one has the advantage over the mean. And we saw that ACE first took the advantage. And here we expected this because all sorts of routes were being compared with each other as long as one was ACE and one was non-ACE. But there was a lot of bias here because one could be express, one could be local, one could be longer, one could be shorter. So we used k-means model to match nearest neighbor model to match ACE and a non-ACE bus, so they're closely similar to the features they have. And here you would expect that the non-ACE buses would take the advantage because the non-ACE buses are faster buses and that don't need this ACE implementation, while ACE buses are need this implementation. It's essentially like if ACE buses were sick and ACE is their medicine, and the non-ACE buses are healthy people. And here you would expect that the non-ACE gains the advantage, but we saw that ACE still maintained their advantage, meaning that these sick people took this medication of ACE implementation and then became healthier than the healthy people. And then furthermore, we looked into CUNY routes performance and how CUNY ACE routes and CUNY non-ACE routes, how they were before ACE implementation and after ACE implementation. And we see a big jump from 7.6 to 8.3 in ACE routes, while we only see 8.3 to 8.8, 0.5. There's a net advantage of 0.2 for the CUNY ACE buses. This shows that CUNY really benefits from the ACE enforcement. And knowing that only 16.7% from our sample size was ACE enforced, we were here to advocate that more buses should be ACE enforced. To do so, we also made machine learning models to assess how, if you scroll down a little bit, we made machine learning models to see how buses that aren't ACE enforced, how they would be if they became ACE enforced. With our machine learning model, we used geospatial data to match them to successful ACE routes that they were before. And we made speed estimates. But however, because of the lack of data, the speed estimates aren't too accurate because there's circular logic if you use speed data, because you don't know if the ACE enforcement was the only factor that made the speed increase that much. So you can't use it for that circular logic. But our models do demonstrate, if you go down, our model does demonstrate, we'll come back to this later. Our models do demonstrate a good rank correlation analysis, because here you see that the Spearman and the Kendall coefficient show the strong relationship between predicted and actual ranking. So it shows that there's a strong correlation in between all of the things. So when we're matching an ACE route to a successful ACE route, like a non-ACE route to a successful ACE route, you see that these coefficients actually match with each other. Now going back to our violations.
Yes. So I mentioned before that these ACE buses send out violations to and like send out fines to certain vehicles that violate these. And what we're trying to see is what type of violations are issued, where they're issued, and who are the people who are doing these violations. So in terms of like CUNY routes, we noticed that the M101 um, has a lot of violations, and this is a route that goes to Hunter. Um, and we also noticed, well, a lot of these violations are actually occurring from exempt vehicles. These are vehicles like they don't need to pay any fine, so honestly, they could repeat this whenever they want to. And one of the top ones is actually emergency vehicles. This includes polices, ambulances, fire stations, etc. Um, and as you can see, there are actually hotspots that where these occur. And as you can see, Bronx is actually the number one hotspot. Um, if you map these out, you see that, for example, one vehicle had over 4,000 violations, and that was near a fire station, or I believe it was a fire station or hospital. But either way, it shows that like, how can we actually make it so that bus commutes aren't slow, but we can also make these emergency vehicles um, do what they need to do on time. So we looked into other like countries that also did this way, and they have like certain, I believe,
Systems.
they have certain systems in place and different lanes so that both of these important like public aspects can actually run on time and are for the people.
And yeah, this is just our statistical side of our model. You can scroll down more. And this shows our average bus speeds by borough, further proving our implementations because the two implementations that we focused, like recommended, were both in Brooklyn and Manhattan. And here you can see that they're like the slowest boroughs. And you can scroll down. And this is what we've been presenting throughout the presentation, our strategic recommendations for what MTA should do and what should be done to help buses become faster for both students and everyone. And this is our presentation. Thank you so much.